My name is Kat. I'm with United Against Police Terror and Affirm San Diego. We are here in solidarity of not only Baltimore, but the many lives that are murdered here in San Diego County by every branch of law enforcement. This is an important event to activate the community against the abuses that are happening right here. I want to lay out some statistics. Okay, so we all know that life matters. We all know that. But when a black or African American is killed every 48, 36, we never know how many hours it is, because every 8 hours a person is killed by police. That means at the end of your workday, somebody has been murdered by a military force here right in our communities that we pay for with our money. They take our loved ones. They take our unarmed. They take those that never have a chance in court. And we are here to demand in San Diego that this is enough.
Yeah.
So when I say, if all lives really matter, say it with me, Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
To the 1.5 million people who are missing, black men and women, to the amount that have been incarcerated and then released in re-entry with unjust records, if all lives matter, Black Lives Matter. If all lives matter, Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
To the number of African American, Latino, and Asian American, Pacific Islander that have been incarcerated, to the amount of black women that have been incarcerated unjustly because of poverty crimes, survival crimes. If we're saying all lives matter, Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
So if we have the sentiment, if all lives really do matter, which we know that, we need to shout, we need to protest, we need to scream to the world, Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter.
So right here he's a member of Impedum. He's going to be speaking on behalf of May Day, which is happening on Friday, 5 o'clock. Here's Xavier with Impedum.
How's everybody doing today? All right. Today is a rally in solidarity with what's going on in Baltimore. You know, I was actually asked to come out here to promote May Day rally that we're going to be holding this Friday, May 1st, downtown, starting at Pantejo Park. We've been passing out flyers. What we're trying to do is get everyone on board. This is a workers' struggle. It's a human rights struggle. But just for the people who did gather out here today, we need to be able to really understand what solidarity with Baltimore looks like. It's not about just shouting whose lives matter, all right? This is something that's become a very serious issue. It's taken the entire world's media attention, and we need to really address it in a way that makes sense of what's going on. We can't continue to target and attack people, try to call them and demean them, saying they're looters, saying they're rioters, and not getting to the real issue, what's caused this effect that we're seeing in the streets. Because the real looting, and this is something put forward by Chairman Omali Yeshitela of the Uhuru movement. And he says the real looting that is taking place is the looting that's going on in our communities for hundreds of years, where they've continued to isolate us, give us the smallest amount of resources, make us fight for crumbs. What you're seeing is the culmination not just of one brother who's been murdered in the streets by a corrupt police department, but this entire police system is corrupt because that's how it was designed. That's how it was created. It is a system that is functioning exactly how it's supposed to. It criminalizes youth. It criminalizes young black men, young black women, people of color who are oppressed all over this country, and they're finally standing up. We say the real looters, if you understand where we're standing, if you understand whose land this truly is here in America that was taken from the Native Americans and the indigenous people, you know who real looters are. You know what real looting looks like. And that isn't a few youth who've been backed into the corner in the streets of Baltimore. So we need to make it clear. All right, the people are taking to the streets for a reason. It's because for too many years they have been criminalized, and then their criminal records have been used as an excuse to gun them down indiscriminately. And the atrocity does not just lie in the bodies that have been laying out in the streets. It lies in the prisons that are being packed full to the brim with modern slaves. Young men and women who are being victimized by this system. So until we make that clear connection a part of our daily discussion, a part of the reality of these protests and these rallies, and we really start getting to the nitty-gritty and not just shouting out here to relieve some stress, then we're going to start seeing some change. When you join an organization that says, no, we don't need police containment, we need economic development. We need to build businesses in our community so young people see that they have a future, that they can build something, a career, a job. So again, I'm here to show you what solidarity for Baltimore really looks like. It's not pinning any blame on these people. It's blaming the system that's caused this, that has caused this tipping point. And for too many years, we've been enduring this injustice, only now to be asked, oh, why is it that you're saying something now? We've been saying something for decades, all right? Decades. So listen to the youth, listen to the young people in the streets who are making their voices clear, who are saying that they see a future and it's something that they're willing to work for. Don't discredit and discard their belief that something can be better in their lives. Don't continue to go on and on about just getting by in what's currently been set up for us, because it will not work. It never has worked. So again, we cannot just end here at this rally in solidarity. We have to join an organization. I represent the Uhuru movement. We publish our own newspapers. We have our own radio stations, our own websites, because we say black media needs to come from our perspective. We don't lie to you. We don't lie about a bias. We are Fox News. We don't say that we're fair, unbiased media, because we realize the reality is everyone has a bias. Everyone has a perspective where they're coming from, all right? And our bias is from the African community, all right? It's something that we're unapologetic about, because we know the issues being faced in our communities, and I can't go into the Mexican or the Asian community or any other community and tell them how to solve their own problems. And so if you're out here in solidarity, if you're out here in support, understand that that means looking towards the black and African people who are out in the streets and asking them, what can you do for them? Not telling them what they need. With that being said, I continue to encourage people, if you want to know some real information, some real updates, check out uhurunews.com. That's U-H-U-R-U. Uhuru is a Swahili word. It means freedom. It's something that we say in greeting and passing when we go to sleep at night, when we wake up in the morning, because it's always on our minds. Uhuru. Uhuru. And so check out that website. Understand, Friday downtown at Pantejo Park in the evening, we'll be gathering 5 to 6. We're going to be marching through downtown. We're going to have dancers. We're going to have music. We're going to have presenters who are going to talk about what it means to have workers' rights and why it's a human right that we should all be able to work to have a living wage and to be able to build lives for ourselves. Again, thank you for allowing me the space to speak. Please come out Friday, support International Workers' Day. It's not something going on just here in San Diego. It's happening all over the world. Thank you.
How's everybody doing?
Not good.
All right, my name is Dominique, and I'm not with any specific organization or anything like this. I just want everybody to know the importance of what these gatherings are for. Protests are good for gathering people, right? I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Yeah. All right. Thank you. Protests are good for gathering people, but a protest can turn to a riot if the wrong person speaks. So while everyone is here, I urge the one standing in front, if you have information to pass, get up here and pass it. If you're nervous or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. That's what we're here for, to get this information out. All right. And the thing about why this means something to me, why everyone's gathering and we're saying Black Lives Matter, and I was sitting in the crowd when I was actually up in DC, and someone said to me, why does this matter? Why does what I'm doing right now matter? Why does this gathering matter? You look at a situation like Ferguson, and you look at a community who already has a distrust for the police, rightfully so, but you look at a community who knows that, hey, if I call the cops, this might happen. Now, we all know this as a community, but nothing happened until people were in the streets. They didn't do investigations and find out that it was systematically racist until people were in the streets. So if you're coming out here and you're wondering what can you do, you come out here, you pass your information like the gentleman just said, and when you go home, you do more than just tweet about this. You don't say I was there, hashtag Black Lives Matter. You get involved with like the local ACLU, that's what it's called, right? ACLU. You get involved in your local ACLU, and like I said, I'm not involved with any organization, but you get involved with them and they'll can point you in the right direction to do. Make your being out here mean something than just, gathering. Because that's what this is for. It's for the gathering, but if you don't pass your information, then we're just people on the line. You understand?
Okay, thank you so much for your thoughts. So from the National Action Network, Shane Harris has joined us and is going to share a few words about what National Action Network is, what's going on there.
How's everybody doing today?
Yeah.
Obviously, we are challenged by a unjust, unfair system that obviously is biased and has not given everybody equal opportunity. All the way from Baltimore to Ferguson to New York to San Diego. There have been issues that have arose. And so I'm the San Diego National Action Network president. We are National Action Network. Reverend Sharpton is already on the ground he's actually there on ground working with the mayor. And so what he's doing is he is meeting with legislation. Obviously we know what took place with Freddie Gray, and so he's there in Baltimore working with Reverend Jamal Bryant, who's one of my mentors there in Baltimore, and working very closely. So there is a process the National Action Network is playing in moving this from demonstration to legislation. That's Reverend Sharpton's big push. It's a good thing to rally up, to get support, to talk about, like, we need to change this, we need to change that. But now we need to figure out how we can speak to the system, how we can impact the systematic view of how people are viewed and how people are treated in our country. And so we have to start here, but we have to end up in those offices. We have to end up in legislation, speaking to these issues and saying this must be changed. We dealt with Victor Ortega. We dealt with our DA here with Penal Code 182.5, in which there will be, this Sunday night, there will be a community rally at the county courthouse at 6 p.m. for Aaron Harvey and Brandon Duncan. We have seen in our very city how we have issues that we don't see right away. And I now see San Diego moving into a more proactive place where we're beginning to step out and we're beginning to be proactive and we're beginning to see the issues ahead of time instead of waiting until the issue happens and then responding and reacting. So give yourselves a hand. And so I came to partner with you, partner with CAT, partner with this coalition, and And so I too am asking and challenging our policing in San Diego. We have seen various issues because people from certain communities or people have certain color of skin, that they are treated a certain way and valued a certain way. And so I'm here to say that everybody matters. Everybody counts. And even in the process of making an impact and a change, we need to bring everybody to the table. We can't leave people out that need to be at the table. So I'm here just to partner with you, to agree with you that this is not right. We lost the round, but we're going to come back. We went in the corner and cleared our head like Muhammad Ali, and we're going to come back and we're going to go for another round. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to stay consistent. We're going to stay on the ground, boots to the ground, and we're going to impact even our city. We're going to challenge the legislation. We're going to challenge the structures in place, and we're going to demand that police be held accountable for the failures of inconsistent behavior with our human beings out here in public.
Yeah.
Something has got to change with the way we police, with the way that we hold police accountable, with the way that we hold people accountable, and so it starts right here. We have to first admit that we have a problem. And in San Diego, we do have a problem. In San Diego, we do have issues. Just because we have palm trees in the beach does not mean that we don't have issues. And so we are here to say we have issues. We're acknowledging we have issues, and we're looking at these issues, and we're going to challenge the legislative structure in place. I challenge you to call your DA. Call your DA. All of you, call your DA. Call your district attorney. Ask for police accountability. Demand justice in your city. You have power because you are the people. So today we are challenging the legislative structure. We're saying that what happened to Freddie Gray, what happened to Trayvon Martin, what happened to Mike, what happened to Michael Brown, what happened in New York, these things are not right. And even what's happening here, what happened with Victor Ortega, we know what happened with Aaron Harvey and Brandon Duncan, these are the behaviors that we don't challenge in this city. The way they are organizing in Baltimore, we should be organizing that way here.
Yeah.
So I'm calling all clergy. I'm calling all clergy. Get out of yourself. Get out of yourself, community organizations. Let's come together. Let's unify, and let's challenge the legislative structures in San Diego County. Let's demand justice. And the only way that it's going to happen is by all of us working together. All of us walking together. And all of us asking and demanding together. We cannot do this alone. There's not one organization, one spiritual aspect, one foundation that can change everything. It is going to count all of us working together to challenge the legislative structure in place. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to partner with you, just as we already have. I'm going to continue to demand that we see the DA, and I'm going to continue to demand that we see legislative structures in place so that we can continue. I'll be meeting with the police chief next week. We will continue to stay diligent in asking for justice for our people in our city. We are not out of issues here. We have issues here that we need to deal with. And we're standing in solidarity with what's going on in Baltimore with Freddie Gray, and we're demanding that justice happen from Baltimore to San Diego right here. So thank you, and let's do this.
Wonderful connection, Shane. Give it up for Shane Harris. Very good point. So, it's beaten, it's torn, it's been through war, but this banner right here only represents a fraction of the people that were murdered in San Diego. We need to rise up. Baltimore, New York, Ferguson has set a precedence for us to follow. We are demanding justice for the stolen lives. Lives that shouldn't have been taken from us. Are not police murdering civilians, unarmed people, community members, children. Don't even have a chance in court. It's not part of the equation. It should never be part of the equation. It's important that whenever somebody dies in San Diego, and remember, every 8 hours, it's important that we rise up, because we can never let anyone forget their existence mattered.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the community here is activated. That is one of our goals. Another one is that we don't believe in police. The origins of police were slave catchers.
Yes. Yeah.
They were meant to oppress. They were never meant to serve and protect. There are laws that are against human life. There are laws that incriminate those that are houseless. There are laws that incriminate those who have nothing to eat. There are laws that incriminate those who seek survival crimes such as sex work, drugs, crimes that incriminate addiction. We have to be accountable for ourselves. We need transformative justice. We need to step up in our community and to see if a member is being oppressed. We need to work it out. So I want to give some information about Know Your Rights. Do not talk to the police.
How do you get past the overseer? I mean the officer.
Yeah.
How do we get past?
Overseer, I mean the officer.
Overseer to officer?
So
Would you like to-
I'm a black man.
Would you like to share, brother?
Well, I'm a black man. 300 years ago it was the overseer that held me down,
That's right.
and they just changed it a little bit. Now he's the officer.
Now he's the officer. From slave catcher to state police. From overseer to officer.
Pass something real quick. So I just walked into the. Can you hear me? Yeah. So I just walked into the crowd, and a young lady came up to me, and I'm gonna share with you what she shared with me. There's an app coming out. It's called the Mobile Justice CA app. You can download it starting tomorrow, and it'll be on Androids and iPhones, and after that, more systems. You know what I mean? And basically, what the app does, it has all the Know Your Rights info on there. It has an automatic, after you register, it has an automatic upload to the UCLA. So if you're recording and an officer or overseer takes your phone, it's automatically going to be sent to them, and it's already registered to them. So you're good on that end. Right now, it's only going to be available in California. I'm sure they will work to expand that. As well, they have a Tell Your Stories to the City Council public hearing coming up Wednesday, May 3rd at 5:30 p.m. at the Jacob Center. Does anybody know what the Jacob Center is? By where?
On the corner of Euclid and Market.
On the corner of Euclid and Market. I'm not from here. I just got stationed here. All right, so yeah, again, they have an app coming out. It's for iPhones, and it is also for Droids. Again, Mobile Justice CA. It has your Know Your Rights info on there and an automatic upload to them. Now, the importance of that is we need accountability, right? We need accountability for the police officers. Now, we can't demand accountability for them and not have accountability amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
What I mean by that, I like that dog. What I mean by that is when we're out here and we're protesting peacefully and we're passing information that can help. If someone is a bit emotional, understandingly so, but their emotions is going to damage what we're here to do, accountability is checking that person. It doesn't mean, hey, you stop what you're doing, but speak to them as a human being and control your community. Because if you don't control your community, the overseer, make sense? Okay.
If anybody who does film, please keep 10, 15 feet away. say that I am not interfering, I'm only observing. We want to keep this peaceful, and we do not want any of protesters touched at any time. Please work with community members to maintain safety. We rely on our community to keep us safe. We can no longer rely on police.
Yeah.
But we also need to protect ourselves, to not incriminate other people as well as ourselves, and to protect boundaries, and to protect everyone's right to march. So this is going to be an open mic if anybody cares to share a few words.
Good evening, y'all. My name is Marco Amaral. I'm from the coalition known as Comunidad. We're over 9 organizations, collectives, based off of mostly Chicano, Chicanas, Latino, Latinas, who are allies to that community. We range all the way from San Isidro all the way to North County. So from behalf of all the organizations of Comunidad, we want the black community here to know that the Latino, Latina, Chicano, Chicana, brown community is here with y'all. And somos una familia. We're one people. You and I, we come from the same histories and the same herstories as well. I want to invoke a very amazing human being, a very beautiful woman, one of the most fiercest black women that I've ever loved. Her name is Assata Shakur.
Yeah.
Another black body that is being constantly threatened by the United States government. Another black body such as Assata Shakur, and many people like Assata Shakur around the world that are constantly threatened by the United States. If you can repeat after me, and every time we get a little bit louder. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and protect each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and protect each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and protect each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Thank you, in solidarity with y'all.
How's it going, everybody? So my name is Brian. Just want to say a couple things. So I want to start with a quote from Fred Hampton, and he said that we're not here to fight racism with more racism. We're here to fight racism with solidarity. Obviously, like, I'm not a black person, and it's really exciting to see a lot of people of color and white allies out here as well. Because I'm a person of color who knows his history. I'm very familiar with the Chinese Exclusion Act that kept Asian people from coming to this country, or restricted the amount of Asian people who were allowed to come to this country.
Yeah.
I remember the Japanese internment that locked up literally hundreds of thousands of Asian people.
Yeah.
So I know my history, and I know that the riots that are happening in Baltimore didn't come from nowhere. They came from 400 years of oppression. They came from 400 years of state-directed violence against people of color. So that's the reason why I'm out here, is I believe very firmly that we need to demilitarize the police, because I think we all know the police don't really work for the people, they work for the state. I run an organization that prevents veteran homelessness, and I speak to veterans every single day, and they know that the streets of Baltimore and San Diego should not look like the streets of Baghdad. So I'm really glad everybody's out here to support the black community. I know that a lot of people have ended up in jail, have been beaten by the police all over the country, but the fact of the matter is they can jail revolutionaries, but they can't jail the revolution. Thank
San Diego to Baltimore, we won't take abuse no more. San Diego to Baltimore, we won't take abuse no more. Months before Ferguson, the Department of Justice was investigating our San Diego Police Department for abuses against women. Months before, many of familiar faces were out here protesting in the streets over Mike Brown, Tamir Rice. Our Department of Justice was investigating our San Diego Police Department. Yesterday, City Council approved $1.5 million in reparations to the victims of our police department. As was already mentioned, Aaron Harvey is not in jail right now under the DA's 182.5 code, but is out in the freedom, able to express his opinion. It's right here. America has 5% of the world's population and 25% of the prison incarceration. Since November, we've been protesting, but it didn't start then. 23 years ago today marks the anniversary of the beginning of the Rodney King riots. It didn't start then. President Lincoln was assassinated 150 years ago, and as I already mentioned, it didn't start then. As a military veteran, I signed up, fight for liberty and justice for all. The war that I signed up for wasn't the war that I thought it was. President Bush wasn't the president that I thought he was, and I wasn't fighting for what I thought I was fighting. Well, now I'm in the streets, and I'm not done fighting. The domestic enemy has become mass incarceration, excessive force, lack of transparency, lack of accountability, inherent conflict of interest, lack of training, militarization of the police through the 1033 exchange program, sexism, racism, ethnocentrism, criminalization of our youth. That is the enemy that I am standing here in solidarity with all of you to fight.
Yeah!
The way that we fight is we go to the streets, we write our congressmen, our supervisors, the board of supervisors here, the mayor, city council, and we go to others' events. May 1st, it's already happening. There's an event May 2nd, there's an event May 3rd. Tell your friends, tell everybody you know. We're all in this fight together. I look forward to marching with all of you. Thank you. San Diego to Baltimore, we won't take abuse no more. San Diego to Baltimore, we won't take abuse no more. San Diego to Baltimore, we won't take abuse no more.
San Diego to Baltimore, we won't take abuse no more.
Got these still out there? Hands up!
No